Yeah. Anne has already introduced the workshop to you, but I will still go through what I have to say regarding this workshop. It is of great significance to us, particularly as a member of the forum, as well as for the Center for Early Childhood Education Development, which I represent, and we are co-hosting this workshop. I'll just share with you the rationale for the workshop, which I think Anne has already covered very well, and then go on to the workshop objectives. Doing this workshop, placed it very much on the table, compelling for get their child right. She's already talked about how important it is the years of life of the child intact, so that the child is enabling to life. And this will happen if effective childhood development services offered to children or available in most critical years. So the question in our minds are providing nutrition levels of children? Talk about family structure, violence, sexual of children, psychological and academic stress. All are taking a toll on children. And here, like in India, we talk about our asset being the youth that we have. Those are our what we call our demographic dividend. But what are we doing for them? Are we really looking at the quality of this demographic asset that we have with us? This is for India, but I think the same situation is for all countries around. So keeping these priorities in mind, why are we having a workshop on financing? This particular workshop is on financing. In Hindi we say, many of you would know this saying, jitna gur dalo utna meetha hota hai. As much sugar you put into the dessert, that's how sweet the dessert will be. So what the sweet is the finance. If you don't put finance into the projects, you will not get the results. Finance is necessary but not a sufficient condition. We acknowledge that, but it is absolutely essential for scaling up. And why do we need the finance? We need it to create an enabling environment for universal early childhood development. We need to do a lot of advocacy at all the right levels to get early childhood development to become a priority for financial allocations. We have with us the former Finance Secretary of our country, of the Government of India. We look forward to his keynote address, where he will probably advise us on how to make this a priority. We need to have finance to make an enabling environment to children in terms of at the policy level, at the structural levels. We need to have laws in place, we need to have policies in place. Those perhaps should be there, but also with that institutional capacity to be able to implement those laws and policies effectively. We need to have address issues of supply and demand, which are closely interdependent. This is one of the issues that I would like to emphasize, that very often we talk about the demand side factors, but we don't consider the supply side factors affecting the demand side factors, because the quality of the supply determines the demand. And somewhere it is not only in terms of the quality of the supply, but also the environment that is created for utilizing whatever is supplied. So maybe we need to learn something from the market principles here and match supply with demand. What will inform financing decisions? We need to have certain, it's not just a question of getting finance, but how and where it needs to be targeted. We need to have some good practices, good models that are available for early childhood development. How do we have childhood development outcomes so that we establish cost effectiveness of different models? Do we have evidence of which finance mechanisms work and in which context they work for supporting early childhood development? Do we know what factors influence political will to increase budgets and streamline expenditures for early childhood development? We have international participation here, we have international experience, and we hope that through the sharing of the next 2 days, we will be able to get some answers, maybe not all answers, maybe some initiatives will get started to be able to get for us this information which is going to influence, or at least influence our advocacy for financing for children. The objectives of the workshop derived from the above are basically in 3 broad domains. We are going to be discussing costs of programs, sources of funding, and allocation of these investments. We are going to be looking at issues where they need to be directed, access and quality, and how accessibility outcomes can be incorporated into costing models. Could be possible models or pathways of current financing structures, which could illuminate potential opportunities for new financing structures, basically with the interest of improving child outcomes. Highlight impact of alternative models of financing. We have a lot of experience around the world of different kinds of financing instruments now, and how those can make a difference, or do they make a difference, even in terms of public-private partnerships, which is now being talked about a lot. And most important of all, how all these can be linked with early childhood development outcomes, which are related to maternal and child health, education, nutrition, and social protection outcomes. So I think this is the agenda for the 1.5 days workshop. We have a very esteemed and diverse participation in this workshop. People from a lot of experience, a lot of expertise in all these areas related to early childhood development and financing. And we are really looking forward to a lot of sharing, a lot of learning from each other. So I would now request Pia to come in. And Pia is, let's see there, one sec, before I forget to introduce you. Pia is, I don't have it here with me. Pia is the Global Advisor for Early Childhood Development in UNICEF, and she's done a lot of work internationally in the area of early childhood development, excellent work, particularly with respect to early learning standards.